What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is JRob here from Team NrG Golf Clash, and this week, guys, we are headed over to conquer the Sakura Hills course and tackle the Easter Classic Tournament. So happy Easter, everybody. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic out there. Hope you get to spend a little bit of much needed time with your family. I know we definitely need it. I know I'm looking forward to it. The crazy year that we've had this year with the quarantine and all the virus that's been going around, it's definitely been a very hectic year, so I think it'd be nice to be getting a little bit back to normal. So we put together a very awesome guide here for you guys today, but before we jump on over into the guide, I just wanted to make a couple quick announcements and thank our very first patron that we do have here on the Team NrG family within our community, and that is Eric Leventhal. So thank you very much, my man. If you guys see him around out there, his name is Long Club Yeah out on GC, so definitely give him a thank you from the Team NrG family. Thank you very much, my man. I do greatly appreciate it, and I know the team does as well. So if you guys would like to hop on over to our new Patreon platform, we have a ton of stuff that we are working on within our community, guys, and so many goals that we are trying to accomplish. So we've got a lot of work done here on the Patreon platform already to try to get that solid foundation that we can start to build on. So if you guys would like to help support us in all of the work that we are doing, maybe you're looking for some tour guides or some more extra notes and really solid information that you'd like to actually follow while you're playing the tournament, and that's where you are going to find all that information that you guys can check out. Down in the description below, we'll have the link over to our Patreon platform that you guys can check out. So thank you guys very much. Thanks, Eric, and let's hop on over into the guide, guys. Let's get it started and conquer this Sakura Hills course. Alright, guys, what is up? Welcome to the guide. So this week we have Sakura Hills here for the Easter Classic Tournament. So for hole number 1, par 4 here, right off the bat, this is going to be a very vital hole that we are going to want to make sure that we can land that eagle chip. So on here, hole number 1, I'm going to recommend that we at least play with the side spin 3 ball. So I would recommend a katana or a kingmaker here for sure, and the APOC. Now, we're really going to want that curl on the APOC. So the extra mile will kind of cut it if you have to use the extra mile, but I would definitely recommend the APOC if you can use it. Now, we're looking for full topspin, full 3 bars of right hand side spin with a katana or a kingmaker, and basically get down there as far as we possibly can, curled around that right hand side. Now, on this second shot, we're going to be playing this at plus 10% there, but for the drive, that's going to be 0% elevation. So definitely keep that in mind and don't get the numbers mixed up, because the drive usually is like plus 10%. But here we have 2 different landing options. If your club distance is a little bit further back, you can play it, just outside of the fringe and use like a half a bar of backspin straight up and over, because we have a more true ball guide. But here I'm playing this with plus 10% elevation here at mid distance. So we're going to be, with those numbers, that's going to be 6 rings. It's going to be a 6 ring adjustment there. So perfect ball. We're going to come in here right off the fringe, and that condensed ball guide is going to push us straight in there towards the pin. 0 spin, and you guys should be able to nail that eagle. Alright, so we're going to move on over to hole number 2 here for Sakura Hills. This is going to be the very first par 3 that we are going to have for the tournament. So there's actually a couple different ways here that we're going to actually play this shot. Now, the elevation for each shot here, if you're going to use the long iron or your sniper, is going to change here. So I'm going to be playing this with 2 different elevations, so keep that in mind. So with the first shot here that we're going to show you is going to be a minimum distance sniper shot here that we're going to be playing this at plus 15%. Now what we're looking for is that just about 3 bars of backspin there. Now if we have a headwind, I want you guys to note here that we're going to want to play that in a tailwind or a headwind. Now this shot here is not capable of being played in a tailwind, so that's why we're going to give you guys 2 different options here. Now I was just actually a ring shy there on this particular shot. Now that's because of that wind push that we have coming from the headwind. Now we want to make sure that we overcompensate just that little bit there on the headwind, so we can make sure that we have that speed to actually get into the pin. Now, if you do have a tailwind, or you feel more comfortable going with the long iron approach here, we're actually going to be playing this with the GRIZZLY at max distance plus 40%. So I played this shot here at plus 25%. Now, on this shot here, so to correct that and dial that in here, what we're going to do is we can pull this back a little bit and try to compensate. We could use a little bit more topspin instead of playing this without spin to try to extend that ball guide. But you could see we even hit great left there, and we still came in 2 squares to the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to bump that up a little bit. We're going to play that at plus 40% elevation there, and you guys should be able to come in there with the exact same location, same spot, and you guys should be spot on able to snag that hole in one. Alright guys, moving right along here, that's going to bring us right on over to the very first of the par 5s that we do have here today for Sakura Hills. So, how we're going to be playing this one here, right off the tee box, we have a little bit of elevation. So we got plus 10% here at max distance with our extra mile. Now, if you have Thor's hammer or something with about full topspin here, even possibly the big topper in a maybe a higher powered ball would work just fine. But if you do have the extra mile 9 or higher power APOC, Thor's hammer, I would definitely just recommend using that, because we need about full topspin here. And even with a headwind here, you can see we got that 2 bars of right hand side spin. We want that slight curl there, and we want to look for that double bounce right at the very end of this fairway here, so that we can just clip the end of the fairway, bounce right over that bunker, right out into the other fairway very nicely, and it's going to set us up for a pretty tough albatross opportunity, but one that is definitely possible because we have a pretty straightforward shot. But the green is up on that plateau, and there's very, odd shaped spots right where we're looking for, our location at. So we need to find like this little bowl shape, and we're looking for the very center of that, and to play it with about a bar of topspin. Now I'm just a little bit further up than where we actually should be. Now, I want you guys to come back to like the very end of like where the bowl would just come up from the back. And that's what you're looking for, because you want to hit that kind of with a line drive in bounce, and we want that bar of topspin to ride right up and out off of the top of that plateau that the pin is on, and it's going to hit that pin and just drop right in. Now here I was actually a little bit shy, and we came in just a little bit further there to the left than I expected, because we actually got our adjustment there a little bit wrong, hit one of those odd spots, and it sent us a little bit left. So if you guys are missing that little bit, it may actually look like you're coming off just a little bit further than expected. So what you guys can do, if you guys on the drive cannot for some reason get over onto the other patch of fairway, or you're having trouble hitting the double bounce, you don't have enough topspin, you can put it right at the very end of this fairway, and you still will be able to reach the green with a very decent shot, and still a nice opportunity at being able to grab the albatross here with a sniper even. So we're going to have that ball guide, we're going to have a very good opportunity. So definitely don't count yourself out here on this hole if you cannot get over onto that other platform just to take the long iron shot. You could try to dial in the sniper shot here. Just make sure that you don't go too far right here at the end of that fairway, because we are pretty close there at 332 yards. So around 330 or so, 325, you should be about pretty decent, because we have about 2 targets here almost of distance up into the fairway there to work with. So if we have a headwind or a crosswind, a lot of the time you will be just fine. But if we do have a headwind for some reason, you may have to use just a little bit of overpower to get to a decent spot here on the fairway. But if you can, we're looking for about the same location there with the as the long iron shot with our sniper here, but we're actually looking for just a little bit slightly to the left here because the angle is different. So I actually under adjusted this one quite a bit here. So what we're going to be doing is actually playing this at plus 10% here off of that back plateau, and I actually just played that at 0%. So we're going to at least make sure that we can play that grizzly shot there at plus 5%, and then we're going to play the sniper shot there at plus 10% is what I would recommend. Those are the numbers that I have dialed in and found to be best. So that is going to get you very, very close, if not spot on, to drop. Now, if you do find yourself, just missing or something like that, don't sweat it too much. Just try to dial that last little bit in, because those spots are pretty uneven. Moving right along here, guys, that's going to take us right on over to the second par 3 that we do have here today for Sakura Hills in the Easter Classic Tournament. So the way that we are going to play this hole here is we're looking for the bounce over shot, or we can play the rough bump shot. Now with the rough bump shot, there's a very small patch of rough there, and I would only really recommend playing that if we have a right to left wind, and you're going to have to nail that perfect ball. So what we're going to do here is play the bounce over shot, and we're going to play this at like 2.5 bars backspin here. You could play it with like 2.25 here and a headwind if you wanted to, but what we're going to do here is play this with just a little bit more than we usually would here in a headwind or a tailwind. Now if we have a crosswind here, you're going to play this at plus 10%, and you're just going to use the mid distance 1-for-1 adjustment plus 10%. Now if we have a headwind like we did here in the clip, now in practice I was actually really unlucky, and I only got headwinds, so I don't know if they're just planning on giving us a headwind here in the tournament, or if they'll just make us practice the headwind, switch it up. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can play it like my opponent is here. But what we did wrong there, to correct that shot, what we should have actually done for that extra wind push that we get on a headwind, we're going to want to play that at plus 15%, because I moved that shot, that particular first shot there that we just watched, I moved that at 7.5 rings there with the elevation and the wind that we had. So if we would have actually played that at plus 15% with that extra 5% there at 8.5 rings, that would have brought us straight in towards the pin, and it would have dropped. So just make sure that you guys can definitely pay attention to whatever wind angles that you guys are adjusting with, and whatever particular shot that you guys decide to go with here, and make sure you can make a good solid adjustment with the numbers and angles that we're telling. Alright guys, so that's going to take us right on over to hole number 5, par 4 here. So how we're going to tackle hole number 5 is we're going to use katana. Something with a little bit of wind resistance would definitely help, but a power 2, power 3 ball would be fine. Basically whichever you feel comfortable with. I would recommend a katana here, but that's just me. So we're going to be playing this first drive here at plus 10% elevation. Now we're looking for about 2 bars to 1.5 bars of right hand side spin. We can play this with about 6-7 bars of topspin, and we do have that headwind. You could potentially play it with full topspin here if we had a headwind or a crosswind, but we do have a really nice tailwind here actually. So you saw me push up a ring there. So what I was trying to do is get right down here as far as I could at the very end of the fairway to check our distance to see, what our club distance was actually going to be like. So if we're around about 360-ish yards, you're going to be about, dead center mid of your club here for the sniper. But getting up around 370, 375, you're going to be a little bit closer to, almost true minimum distance here with your sniper. So, definitely don't worry about getting too crazy far down the fairway. But what we're looking for here is to just clip that rough, and we're going to be playing this second shot here with the rough bump at minimum distance minus 25% elevation. So that's pretty big elevation, to be subtracted. So definitely make sure that you have a solid adjustment here. Now, I moved this 2 rings with a 5.7 miles per hour wind, and we still over adjusted this one slightly. As you could see, we just came in there and clipped that rough. You know, we were still about a ring off there. So if we would have moved that about 1 ring, it would have been perfect. So we're going to be playing that at true minimum distance, minus 25%, you know, with that elevation and hitting that perfect ball. You guys should be very close, but it's going to be a tough shot to land. So definitely good luck with that one. Alright guys, so here for hole number 6 at par 5, the second of the par 5s we do have here today in the tournament. We are going to be playing this one here one of 2 different ways. Now, we're not going to be really playing this on the right hand side like we would normally here in you know, rookie or, you know, other divisions. We're going to be playing this here on the left hand side because it really, you know, lets us take full advantage of being able to get further down the fairway there on the left hand side. So we're going to be playing this at plus 10% elevation. Now, we could potentially play this with a tailwind and get, you know, really far down there, use a long iron, and that's going to be one of the 2 ways that we're going to play. Now, with this headwind here and the distance that I knew that we were working with here, I wasn't really too worried about getting too far down, you know, close to the rough line there at the end of this fairway towards that little river. So that is because I wanted to make sure that we do have enough distance here with our sniper that we can make a nice shot here in coming out of the rough. Now, if you are a little bit further up there, around like 398, almost 400 yards, you're going to be at this exact spot with a long iron. So what I would recommend doing is playing that with the Goliath, because if you are at that location and you have the Grizzly, you're not going to be able to reach this exact location. You're going to be at just into overpower. So you're going to be back about 3 rings from where my sniper is right now, in that bunker line, and you're going to be, you know, annoyed that you just can't reach with that Grizzly. So play it with the Goliath, use the ball guide that it does have. You know, if you have a little bit of a higher level Goliath, it'll work for you just fine. Or you can play that at plus 10% there with either the Goliath, the Grizzly, or the sniper right out of the rough there, and you should be able to make a really nice shot. Now, I was testing elevations and numbers like I'm always doing here in the guide, so play that plus 10%, not plus 5 like I did. Okay guys, that's going to take us right on over to hole number 7, par 3. So we can play this one of 2 different ways here as well, and they're both going to be rough bump options. Now, we're going to be playing this shot here at mid-distance plus 10%, so definitely keep that in mind and make sure that you can make a good adjustment here if you're going to play this on the plateau shot here with the rough. Now, we're going to want to be just a little bit further towards the front, you know, then my target is even right there. We want to be just at the very top of that rough, about, you know, where our yellow ring is about halfway almost out into the green in the fairway. And I know that seems a little bit scary, but we're going to actually be taking a pretty uncomfortable shot here if you want to be able to really land that one for the hole-in-one. So because I put my ball guide there straight through the pin, that's why we missed just that little bit to the left there. If I would have offsetted my ball guide there and put that at, you know, just that little, or use that just a little bit more elevation or a little bit more overpower there, we would have landed that one. But what we're looking for there is just that tug of overpower once you get, you know, the whole adjustment and what you're going to use to compensate for your headwind push or a tailwind push. That's what you're going to need to adjust. So make sure that if you're going to play that option, you make sure you check all those boxes for sure. But if we're going to play this left-hand option, we can play this with a half a bar of backspin, about a ball of curl here to the right, and at least a side spin 3 ball. It is definitely recommended to play it with the side spin 4, but you can always just compensate that little bit more with the curl and, you know, kind of make up for that lack of a bar of right-hand side spin that you're losing there. So you're going to have a little bit more curl than you might expect, but good luck. Alright guys, so for hole number 8, par 4 here, we are going to be bringing out the APOC. So what we're going to do here, with a headwind, I would recommend playing with a power 3 ball, but if we have a crosswind here or a tailwind, you could definitely get away with using a katana, power 2, something like that, but we definitely want at least the side spin 3 here. So we're going to use that 3 bars of right hand side spin, about 5 to 5.5 bars of top spin here. You could potentially use 6 with the headwind, but just definitely make sure that you don't have too much top spin there, so that you're going straight into that bunker or the rough line there, straight ahead. Now, we're going to really need that curl. We're going to use about 50% curl here to the right, about our screen worth of curl, about an inch or so it looks like outside of our target there. And we're going to get curled around to the right so that we can get as far down there as we possibly can around that little hook. Now that's going to set us up here for either a dunk or full backspin option here with the THORN. And we're going to be playing that drive at plus 10% elevation. Now we just don't want to go into that bunker or the rough line on the right hand side either, or hit that tree, so definitely make sure that you don't use too much curl. Now, with the dunk option here, if you do go with the dunk, I would recommend going with about 4 to 5 bars of topspin there. So if your target is right on the pin like that and you do have to adjust, weird angle or something, you may come up and back down and roll all the way back down the green and into, the rough, the fringe, the bunker there. We just don't want to go off the fairway, really. So I would recommend playing it with, not full backspin, but if we are going to go for the full backspin approach here, kind of more up onto the green and the platform itself, then you're going to want to go with a minimum distance to mid distance shot there, minus 5%. Now that's going to depend on our club length. So I was actually in mid distance club there and played that at minus 5% minimum distance. Alright guys, that's going to take us on over to the very last hole that we've got here today at hole number 9, par 5. And this is going to be the most challenging hole here of the tournament. So if we have a berserker ball or a power 5 ball, a top spin boost ball, this is where you are going to want to break it out here on the drive with your driver that has the most top spin there, and the best level with distance and top spin as far as Thor's hammer, the APOC, the extra mile. Those are one of the options that you're going to look for here. I would recommend if you have the extra mile 9 or the APOC 5, APOC 6, with that top spin and maybe a boost, I would recommend that. But if you do have the extra mile 9 with that extra top spin and a power 5 ball, it definitely will be a big advantage. So we're looking to get as far down that fairway as we possibly can, and we're going to be playing that at plus 10% elevation. Now for our second shot here, we can either play this one of two different ways, and that's what I'm going to be showing you guys here with my opponent's shot as well. So he was actually using a marlin ball, so he definitely wasn't planning on really going for green, going for the green in 2. So he was actually planning on laying up here on the right hand side and going for a third shot to try to land that shot for the eagle here. So we're either going to be playing it to land that shot, or we're going to be playing it with a higher powered ball here and a big dog or a guardian. Now if we can get as farther down there to about 400 plus yards, we can actually play this with a guardian and full backspin right up towards the green in the fairway, and that's about the only way that we're going to actually land that shot. Now, if we're a little bit further back, we're going to be playing this with, almost full topspin here on the big dog to essentially aim right for the fringe line on the opposite side of this green in the fairway. So we're going to use just that slight curl here. We're not really trying to curl it to the right and get it over towards the pin. We're just trying to get it as close as we possibly can right up there onto the green and get it on that fringe, so that we don't have a really awkward putt. Now, if we're up a little bit on that hill, or we're a little bit further back, we're going to have a very, very awkward angled putt that's going to go up and around that green that you're going to almost always have to use overpower to actually land that putt. So it's going to be even a difficult putt. So you're going to have to try to get the best placement there on the second shot as you possibly can. You may even want to come up just a little bit shy of rolling onto the green so that you can end up just in the fairway or the fringe line just in front of the green and make a nice chip with a rapier or the Endbringer, Firefly, whichever you choose to use, right outside of the fringe and the green there. And, we're going to be playing that right around the fringe. I would play that at 0%, but if we do have that second shot option, with the big dog, we're going to be playing that shot there at plus 5% as well. So definitely keep that in mind. And if you do play the long iron shot outside of the pin, like you're going to see my opponent go with here, then we're going to make sure that we play that with 5% elevation as well. And what we're looking for there is to find a nice location right here by the rough. And we're going to use just that little bit of side spin from, whichever, if we have a right to left, I would bring it a little bit further to the right and, compensate with a little bit of left spin. If you have a left to right, I would kind of do the same thing, but, compensate back. Just kind of offset your target just that little bit and use that side spin to compensate you back and fight that little bit of a wind push. So that plus 5% elevation here is almost exactly what my opponent kind of forgot to do here. So if he would have moved it, just that little extra bit, that plus 5%, he may have actually came in and dropped this one, but he was actually just that little bit too far back and didn't hit his right location. Alright though guys, that's going to be the wrap up for the Pro and Expert Division guide and walkthrough video here for the Easter Classic Tournament in the Sakura Hills course. So I just wanted to make an outro here thanking each and every single one of you guys for being here and watching the content. Truly does mean the absolute world to me that you guys are here and enjoy watching the videos and that they do help you guys. I do put quite a bit of work into the videos and it is hard fighting against the machine, so I appreciate all of the help and support from you guys. And if you guys would like to support us, you could hop on over to our Patreon platform at patreon.com/JRobGC. The link is in the description below. You can join our Facebook groups and all of the teams and groups that we got on there to become, a true supporter and true member of the Team NrG family and our community. Smash that subscribe button, hit the like button while you guys are here. I definitely appreciate it. And go check out all of the things that we have going on right now on our Patreon platform, guys, because we have a ton of big things in store. I actually just got the rest of my streaming equipment here thanks to you guys, so we're hopefully going to be streaming here very, very soon, so definitely stay tuned for that. But nonetheless, it is the end of the video, guys, so I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic Easter. Enjoy some time out there with your family, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next video. Peace.